So hi, One Liquid Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
I'm Matt.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Victor. More Arrows in Action.
and we're gonna ask them some questions to say about their upcoming album, Built to Last. So congrats on that. By the way, how do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
It's been absolutely phenomenal. I feel like people have been waiting for us to put out a full length for some time now, especially with like the little sprinkling of singles over the last year. So it's been an absolutely phenomenal response, and we can't wait for everyone to hear the record. Yeah.
Hell yeah, the album rocks.
It's
There's
incredible.
so many different sounds going on this album.
Thanks.
It's
Thank
fucking
you.
awesome.
What song surprised you the most?
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm supposed
Seeing
to
Red.
Yeah, that's the one.
That shit, I was like, wait a minute, why are they kind of heavy right now? Like, we got the credits and then we got this here too. Like, it's all over the map. I love it.
Yeah,
That's right.
outdid yourself completely. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
So the cover art, I feel like, was kind of in a way like a continuation of the Be More cover art, but we wanted to like specify colors for each of us. We've been feeling like a lot of like deserty kind of tones. Jesse's always rocked purple. Matt had been doing red, and so I figured I would just pick orange. For the title, it comes from the album, from the title track, Built to Last. That was sort of the track that kind of kick-started the rest of the record. Like we had a lot of songs like Put You Through Me and Over It and High. But when it kind of like came down to picking a theme for the record and picking like what direction we wanted to take it, after that, Built to Last, at least for me, helped kind of determine what I wanted to say, what the important like parts of the record were in terms of like, going from the beginning to the end and like kind of the whole journey of the record. So Built to Last really like solidified that. And I think we had all kind of felt very similar that, we had all moved to Nashville and we had all been like really grinding it out, trying to do this music thing. And at the end of the day, one of the most important things for us was reprioritizing like, family and friends and those like really important relationships.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
All right.
it just worked out really well as like a capstone to the album. And then when we were working on the title, we had some working titles that we just didn't feel connected once we actually finished the album. We had been calling it something else, which we might use later, so I won't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Damn it, okay.
We were calling it something else, and we were like, it just doesn't actually really fit like what's actually happening here. So Built to Last made the most sense. It felt good to have a title track too, which we've never really had before, right? Yeah, never had a title track before. So yeah.
Hell yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah, definitely.
Start at the top.
Huh?
What was first? Put You Through Me was first.
Put You Through Me was first, and that was the first Nashville session. Victor started that one with some friends of ours, Spencer Jordan and Knox and Jack Book. And that was the first sort of like outside of Dan Swank, outside of the band, like writing session. And then I think from there, we all together got to write with a lot of new people. The album has some tracks that like our old school mode of writing, Vic would come in with like a complete section or almost a complete song, and we'd go from there and either change things or decide what was being kept. And there's also a lot of songs on this one now that are completely from the ground up, where we walked in with nothing but sort of a vague concept or maybe a melody idea, and then built something with friends or new people, which was really exciting and really fun. So.
Yeah, we got to do a writing trip out to Palm Springs and then at a cabin in Lake Arrowhead out in California. And we flew out there with our producer, Dan. And our goal was just to kind of like write as much as we could. We wrote Seeing Red, Beating the Fall, Checking In. What else did we write?
We like sonically built
Built to Last was tracked out there. So that kind of like finished the record.
Yeah, good, like third of the record was done on that
Made
record.
for This was done too.
Wow.
Made for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We polished off Made for This when we were out.
And then a lot of pretty much everything else was either before that trip, we were just writing a ton in Nashville. And then after the trip, we just kind of tied the bow, I guess, on everything else and finished it all up. So it took a bit, lot of hours put into this album.
Which is why there's a lot of like ear candy
There's
and
a
detail
lot.
work.
There's a lot in there. Yeah.
So, like, if we try to kind of pinpoint a start time, like, what would you guys say, like, was the start time for this?
October 21
Okay.
was like when we started working on Put You Through Me, and I remember that was when we kind of like kicked open the door. We were like, okay, it's time to start working on the new stuff,
Mhm.
Okay. Makes sense.
which is funny because that was right when Be More dropped. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
just like EP. Now we're on to the next thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, those songs have been done for quite a while too, just with the way releasing music works. So it's like, you
Yeah.
have quite a bit of time after the songs are done. So we were already kind of antsy to do the next thing, you know.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. So, what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite? Three of you.
Right.
Longest to write.
I think Entropy took the longest
Entropy
to
took the
write from
longest to
beginning
write.
to end. That one just
Mhm.
took me a really long time to get those verses like dialed into where I wanted them to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Personal favorites is tough. Mine usually is Checking In because we wrote that with Dan and Spencer, and I think everybody was writing from a very personal,
Mhm.
I don't know what to call it, but it's like a very personal perspective. Everybody was drawing from like real things. Everybody was actually thinking about a friend that they had lost touch with when throwing ideas around. And even before we had lyric concepts, just like the danciness of that track and that little post guitar melody thing, we all were in love with. So I think just because of how exciting that one is and then how emotional that one got, Checking In's probably my favorite right now.
Yeah, checking in's my favorite as well. There's a lot of video of us because we did like GoPro video of us in the studio.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of footage of us just like playing checking in and then just like
And just
dancing around.
in the kitchen. Yeah.
It's like
Aw.
it's great. So yeah, that one had a lot of good vibes. Like they all had good vibes, but whenever we played that one, everyone would just like stand up and just start dancing around.
Yeah,
Okay.
before we were done with it, it's like, let's take a break. Put that
Like
one on.
checking in.
Yeah.
Dance break.
Put the Happy Little Step one on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say my two, it's between Head in the Clouds and Built to Last.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
I
Sounds
just
good.
really enjoyed it. We got to write Head in the Clouds with our buddy Graham and Alex. And we literally wrote that in like his apartment in LA, and we just wrote it on acoustic guitars, and we were like, I think this is all it needs. I think this is like the happy acoustic song that we never got to write that we finally
Yeah.
get to make. And then Built to Last just became like a very cool turning point for the record for me, at least, where it was like, okay, this is what the record's about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be the closer? Did you shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Big whiteboard vibes for this one. So like we kind of knew from the beginning that Made for This was going to be like the opening track, and that was sort of the goal from like when we had started writing it, was we wanted like this really big, like bloated, like just like blaring, yeah, like Foo Fighters, like 5 Seconds of Summer style, like blaring intro, just
Mhm.
kick down the door for the record, into Over It, into High. Like I think that we had like different variations, different like lists, like different orders for the songs, but at the end of the day, like the story of the record kind of like matched. I don't know. I think that like having it in the way that it is now kind of tells the story of the record really well, and like the story of like our time of like moving from Gainesville to Nashville, and like, you know, really taking this career seriously. And certain songs like Learn My Lesson are like almost like interludes for the record, and other songs are kind of like the, I don't know, coming out of like sadder points. Like Learn My Lesson very much feels like coming out of like the credits and Put You Through Me of like, okay, you know what, I should call my mom. So they very much each serve like a purpose in the track list.
Yeah, and then
tell the story.
Seeing Red's like the turning point is like all this stuff I'm like upset about or questioning my life or whatever, and then Seeing Red's like fuck you, and then after that it just goes to like maybe this isn't so bad. I'll
Maybe it's
figure it out.
Yeah.
My favorite batch of songs is Wide Eyes, into Seeing Red, into Beauty,
Beautiful.
because it's like, I'm getting mad, fuck everything.
I
Oh,
am.
maybe not fuck everything. Everything's probably okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also worth saying that the record loops. So this is really nerdy and specific, but the snare hit right at the at the end of Built to Last
Mhm.
used to be at the beginning of Made for This. And so if you were to set it up on Spotify, right, so that you like add the first song right after the last song, it's a perfect loop. So that drum fill starts the record over.
Yeah.
And that's something that we did intentionally because I think we knew while working on them that the first was the first and the last was the last, at least.
Yeah, like initially we had like Built to Last ready. It was just gonna end on like that quiet chorus, and then I forget exactly what it was. I think somebody just kept singing like the little jingle of like the bum bum da 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 da, and we just kept singing that over the end of it. And we were like, what if we made this weird like big orchestral build? It's the final track in the record. Like we can do whatever we want with this. And then kind of came the idea of like, well, let's take a lyric from each of the actual songs and like build like kind of retell the story at the end.
And this has nothing to do with the track list, but this was also kind of the first time that we got to write a little bit more with like an album with an album in mind. So like every song wasn't like this is a single. We got to do with like Built to Last, we got to make that outro, which we definitely wouldn't have done
If it
on
was
a song that we were like, all right, this is the song that's coming out next.
Mhm.
And like that would be a thing that'd be like, no, you have to cut that whole outro. That's ridiculous. But we were excited about it because we're like, no, this is cool. Like
we have license to do this
for
for
the
so many
album.
other
Like,
songs that
yeah.
That's so I fucking love when like bands make their albums like do a perfect loop. So now with that in mind, I have to go listen to the record again because albums like that are like crack to me, like Fandom by Waterparks. That shit, I'll listen to
shit
that
is
6 or 7 times in a
crazy.
fucking row because it's a perfect loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss songs that are made to go like into each other, or at least made to listen next to each other.
Mhm.
You know, that doesn't happen as much anymore. Not to sound like a geezer, like I love how things work now,
Yeah.
but damn, sometimes I just put on American Idiot because I want to hear the transitions. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
stuff.
Beautiful. And I'm so happy to hear that you guys were able to kind of like indulge in the album making process. I don't know how you guys lasted this long without putting out a full length because it looks like this is what you're made to do. It's crazy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was just happenstance, right? Like we had always said we were like, well, we're not gonna put out an album until we sign to a label because an album is expensive and it's
Yes.
like much more risky. Like you can put out one song and focus everybody on that one song and like get everyone to listen to that song, and that has worked for us pretty well. So like, but then we sort of passed a point and we were like, wait, we probably don't want to ever sign to a label. So now we just need to do the album that we were saying we weren't going to do anymore.
Yeah.
We are the label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the label.
I love it.
That's funny.
So would you guys be able to tell us where Headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Yeah, I mean, the record kind of starts with us, you know, leaving Gainesville and moving to Nashville. Like that was a really big decision for us as a band. Like Jesse didn't even get to make it up there. Matt and I moved up there, like the two of us, into a house, and Jesse would fly up like every month for a week to do rehearsals and recording and everything. And our manager Jacob already lived up in Nashville for a while before that, so it was a very like staggered process of getting everyone there. So it was like a very, I don't know, it wasn't just like a quick one and done thing. Like it was a long process of
It's a lot
us
of
getting
work.
up to
It's
Nashville
stressful.
and like committing to that.
Yeah.
So a lot of our headspace, I think, was kind of finding our place in Nashville, finding our place within like this new music landscape, learning how to work with different co-writers, still working with like our friends like Dan and working with other producers as well. And I remember there was a point in that first year where Matt and I were like, well, like let's just work with anyone and whoever we can just to get better at co-writing. And I think that really did help build the record in a lot of ways. Like even though like not every song on that album was written with like a complete stranger, like most of those songs were written with people that were really close friends of ours, like Graham or Spencer. It was, I think it really sharpened our skills to be able to write on the fly. I'd say our headspace was a lot of like I don't know, kind of like Jesse had said earlier, of like getting frustrated about all these things, whether it was like the Put You Through Me vibes or the credits, or you know, getting to learn my lesson, wanted to call my mom, and then we get into things like Wide Eyes and Seeing Red, where it's like, you know what, like screw all this, I'm gonna do this my way. I want to like do this on my own terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also like the timeline is so we start writing like October 21st, and then we have like the uncomfortably numb TikTok moment at the end of December. And Matt and Victor had already moved to Nashville by that point. And then I think we like quit our jobs in January of 2022 ish. So we're like sort of like, yeah, or slightly before that, which like, it was, obviously, I mean, you can do the calculations. We're not like rolling in money from it, but we were like, well, we can make the same amount of money we're making at our jobs, and we can just do music, which I think like was a big turning point for us to go like, all right, we are all in on the band. Like we all like focus on the band. Everything that comes out of the band comes back to us. And I think that also in my mind fits the theme of like built to last. It's like has to do with us. We are built to last. We're all in this together. So we were like writing the album for the first time ever as that's the only thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
Which was really nice too. You kind of cut out some of the stressors of like other work and replace those with
I was gonna say
the stressors of just being a band.
you need to re-stress around.
Yeah,
It's better fucking work.
they're better stressors, but they're still there.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of like what that looked like for us, like career wise, which was obviously like very exciting, very stressful, sort of like that like anxious excitement of like this is awesome, but is it gonna work? Kind of deal. So
And
yeah.
Obviously you brought up the viral success of songs off that last EP. I'm curious as to how you guys kind of balance the content creation side alongside writing music. And with that being said, like writing music while you still have to push the last body of work and like trying to stay in that headspace, but like also being in the headspace of the other one because you're promoting that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a lot, and like I mean everybody's doing it now, even people who are on labels and stuff. But I think I don't know. I think we have a really great dynamic, and we're really fortunate that we do share the workload when it comes to everything. But really, everybody has their own specialties. I want to say, like promoting stuff never really stops. Like even when we're on tour and we're driving to a venue, if I'm driving, Jesse's making TikToks or vice versa, and even just the other day, Victor had a song idea. And so like the machine just has to keep rolling. It can get stressful, but I don't know. I think
better this than an office job.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
It doesn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
get too muddy, like we're like we don't really think about like promoting the songs as we're writing them, so it's like after you get a song out, then it's like, okay, cool, how can we promote this, and like what's the emotional appeal here? So it doesn't really get into like intrude on the songwriting process or anything really. So
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I love that.
I would say I feel like we could all have like varying answers on this, but I think you get in the car and drive fast and click play on the first track.
It's a car. I think it's a car album.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's a blaring it in the car album. We get told pretty often that is how, like, there's like of the TikTok comments, a lot of people say, I listen to this on my way to work every morning, or I listen to this on my way home from work every morning, every night. So I think car.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to it in the dark at night with headphones, but I think you're gonna like get it a little more if you're like, I don't know, driving fast.
Yeah.
Or safe
Be
speed.
safe. I don't know
Oh,
about
yeah.
driving.
Safely.
They don't condone speeding, guys.
No.
Yeah. That, and then after you do that, then go home and listen with your headphones on, so you can hear all the nuance. Because there's a lot of cute tricks in there that sadly your car is not gonna share with you.
Yeah.
Right. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this one should be super, super quick off top of your heads. I want you guys to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less, 3 words each. 9 total.
Ooh. Intentional.
Started off so strong.
I don't want to use that
Is it
word.
3 words for each of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 each.
Mm.
All right, someone else go while I think of two more words.
I can think of one word right now, and it's
Great.
eclectic.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
This way we won't use each other's words. What's yours, Matt?
I don't know yet. I'm
Um,
thinking.
I'm trying to use words that aren't too haughty, uh compliments, you know? Really
I mean,
here.
yeah.
Unyielding. There's truly never a point on this record where you get a break, I think. Like, there's no like slow, like, sleepy interlude on this one or anything. Not that anything we've done has ever been slow or sleepy, but there is like, it is just unyielding and just continuous.
I'm gonna
Oh, there
say
you go. Nice.
weird, honest, and I can't use intentional.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Yeah. W-
There's some spice in there.
Yeah.
And um I don't know. I don't know any words anymore.
Come on, guys. One more each. You got it.
All on the record.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do it. I could do it.
You guys have got it.
Exciting
There you
for
go.
me.
There you go.
Yeah, weird, honest, and God, what's a word for like just like forward thinking? Like
The
if it's
word is
built to
forward
last-
thinking.
Thinking.
Is that one?
There you go.
Sure.
I mean, if it isn't, we could always just hyphen it. Yeah. There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you for that.
So in that same train of thought, but with not as much pressure, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I think one thing that we talked about a lot was it's not just the theme of checking in, but sort of a lot of the stuff on the record is about prioritizing the people who care about you back, and how that can kind of set you up for success, which leads to Built to Last, the title. So I think thinking about your, like, whether it's your family or your found family or your friends, just sort of prioritizing friendships.
Yeah, I think that gets demonstrated a couple times throughout the record between like Made for This, like saying, maybe they'll like, I don't know, trying to find your place, and Entropy trying to understand like if where you are is correct, and like if you miss your people, learn my lesson, you're like calling out to your family or your mom or anything like that. And like Matt had said, like, by the time you're at checking in and Built to Last, like you've come to this realization that like even though you may be going through all this anxiety and turmoil, like those are the people that matter the most.
Yeah, it's very. Oh, this should have been more the word existential.
Yeah,
It's
there you
very-
go.
Yeah.
Bonus word.
A lot of existential, like, what should I be doing this? And then like, oh, but it's so hard with over it. And then like getting to just like really looking at the people around you with like wide eyes and seeing red and just like trying to like figure out life and like if you're where you're supposed to be. And then as you get to the end, like it's sort of like this acceptance that like it's gonna be okay. Maybe I should call my friends that I haven't talked to in a little while. And
Well,
like,
think about calling your friends.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you should do.
yeah.
Alright.
We just, I don't know. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Perfect. So can you guys talk about any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of the album? Positive or negative? So it's you.
Definitely seeing red. Like once we got those verses and choruses dialed in, like it became like this crazy song. We were like, well, we've never done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about it a lot. It didn't have a name. It was the heavy one.
Heavy voice.
And we were just
That's
like, yeah. After we wrote that, the next day we did some like videos and everyone was like, yeah, that was my favorite one.
Yeah.
I think it was just it was different for all of us to write. It was different for Graham, who was there with us. It was different for Dan. We were all just like, that was super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely standout. I think checking in was definitely, I think, a moment for me too. Just like once we finally got, because Matt had that little like dun 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 dun, and once we got that down and added like a little drum beat and like one more thing, we were like, oh yeah, wait a second, this
Yeah.
is gonna be awesome.
It didn't take much
Yeah.
for us to really fall in love with that one. So I would say that. And also just like having Spencer there with us
Mhm.
was really special because he's just a good friend of all of ours that we've known for a while. And I think everybody was just like really appreciating the situation that day.
Yeah.
The fact that we were traveling together, that we're writing together, and yeah, checking in was a standout moment for me. Yeah,
And like the Built to Last outro, I think once we like finished that, there was like a lot of hype because one, it kind of meant we were done with the album because we also did that basically last.
yeah,
It just kind of happened that way. That's not usually how it goes, but it did. The end of the last song was the last thing we finished.
yeah.
I think Dan did that intentionally.
If he did.
He did, yeah.
I love singing the low octaves on the
Yeah.
sax. That was one
Yeah.
of my favorite moments.
Just
That
like
was fun.
stacking up that and then
Yeah.
listening back to it. And yeah, that was a lot of energy in the room there.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So since you guys are on tour, we have to ask, when you stop at a gas station for a rest stop, what's been the go-to snack?
We really like Wawa.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
I've been really
Well, it's
basic.
better than
I've,
cheese.
I've just been
It
getting
is, yeah.
the chicken
Yeah.
strips from Wawa, but I really like them.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I'm on a chicken strips Wawa
yeah.
kick right now.
Hell yeah. Happy for you.
Lately it's been definitely like the burgers or the chicken strips. Our photographer Hunter threw me on to the like the protein shake game. Like if you're just like, I don't want anything else, or it's like late at night, you just want something quick, like definitely the protein shakes have been good. Got onto those little applesauce squeeze packets. Those are fun too.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Classic.
I like peanut M&Ms.
Damn.
Nice.
Like my dad.
Nice.
Or the Reese's in the fridge. They have them in the fridge.
Cold
now.
Reese's are also fucking
Oh
great.
my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pre-refrigerated Reese's is a genius move.
Although it sucks when they put them in the beer cooler. And
Yeah.
you go there after midnight, they're like, you can't buy alcohol. You're like, I don't want alcohol. I just want cold
I just want my
Reese's."
candy. That's ridiculous. So, on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
That's fun.
I think we'd be some sort of spicy dish. Spicy, yeah.
This man loves the word spicy.
I really like the word
Spicy.
spicy. Also, just like spicy food, so maybe that's it.
Oh,
The
man.
band were a food.
Why is that so funny?
I mean, we'd be something fun, something classic but fun.
I'm trying to think of like a weird sandwich that you wouldn't think would be good, but it is.
Ooh.
You know,
Uh,
what do you think it'd be?
On the sandwich idea, would be the French dip from Lake
Ooh,
Arrowhead restaurant, but I
that's
do
it.
not remember what it's called. We stopped at this nice restaurant in Lake Arrowhead. There was this delicious like tri-tip French dip that's the best sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
So maybe that.
The server said it was the best sandwich he'd ever had, and we're like, all right, well, I guess we'll have to try that. And he was right. It was
Okay.
the best sandwich we'd ever had either. So,
Sounds good.
I would like to be that. I don't know if that's what we are, but we aspire to be
Aspire to be that.
Okay.
And we
Aspire to be that
aspire to be a
sandwich.
French dip sandwich, and we are a peanut
Mm.
butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh,
You're getting there. Don't worry.
yeah.
So for the last couple of questions, we're going to shift completely away from music. So if you guys could be one animal for the rest of your life, what animal would you be and why?
For the rest of my life.
Would you be aware that you turned into this animal?
I always imagined it. Yeah, like that meme where the girl turns into like a rat or something. Have you seen
Yeah.
that? I always imagined that. So yes.
So you are aware. Okay.
Yeah, I think if you walk into a room with me and Justin, we don't go, "Hey, Matt," like we go, "Oh shit, a rat!" Like, you know.
Well, it's a different question than just like what animal would
It's
you
true.
be. It's what animal
What
would
you
you be
turn
turned into
into.
for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
I think I would want to be like a gorilla,
Mm.
Oh, okay.
but like not in the zoo, like wherever gorillas are.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty cool, very strong, very fast. Very fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's true.
Thumbs, right?
Thumbs.
Yeah.
You still have thumbs. And you wouldn't
Yeah.
have to figure
You
out.
can
how to
learn
not.
sign language if you want to.
You
Still
can still play
communicate.
RuneScape as a gorilla.
It's pretty cool.
You're just making me want to say the same thing.
Well, that's
You sound like really good.
Lemur.
there you go.
Yeah, lemur.
Ooh.
Bat.
Ooh.
Alright.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I thought
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you got a bunch of homies, you're sleeping upside down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things.
living
going
the
on.
dream, all the things we wish we could do.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Perfect. All right. So if you could have lunch with any celebrity or artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Mm.
Dave Grohl.
Nice.
I know that's a probably a common answer, but I would love to meet Dave Grohl. Just seems like a very friendly person who does quite a bit of good, and I'm not that into barbecue. However, he seems like he's really good at making barbecue. You ever see those things where he cooks for people at festivals or homeless shelters and stuff?
Mhm.
I really want to try that barbecue.
That is a good answer.
So,
Absolutely.
All right.
Dave
It's a
Grohl.
goal. Yeah.
I hang out with Patrick Stump.
Hell yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think mine would be Haley Williams.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love Haley. Mhm.
she seems like she knows a lot. I feel like you could learn a lot from Haley Williams.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for this last question, boom, you're on a desert island. You can bring one movie, one album, and one person. Who and what are you bringing?
Oh wow.
Okay.
My movie is the Lego Movie.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Classic. Yeah.
Just a winner of a movie.
Honestly, yeah.
Album's tough.
Album's tough.
'Cause I don't even like movies, but
Yeah.
albums. Anybody else have one?
Still time to think about it.
I would bring my fiance as my person.
Okay.
That seems like the right answer.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Then the only other options are these guys, and that's not helpful.
I would say so. The movie would be Surfs Up, the
Fuck
Penguin
yeah.
surfing movie.
Yeah.
The album would be, I'm just gonna say, Folly You Do by Fall Out Boy,
Mhm.
Fuck
and
yeah.
my person would be our manager Jacob. 'Cause I would need some help.
It'd manage you.
Yes,
Yeah.
manage my whole existence.
Mike would be really great at that too.
He would.
Mike's not here.
Yeah.
He's a TM.
Yeah.
My album.
Yeah. You got to pick your album.
That's tough. I'm trying to think of it because there's so many albums that I'll put on the drives that are like full listen throughs. All You Do is one of them.
Never After.
Ever After by my. I feel like that's too specific for to have a one album. You know,
I have mine.
like Fall You Do. I feel like covers a lot more ground, so you
Yeah.
get a lot of variety musically. I don't know. You go.
That's a good pick though, because that's a weird pick.
Yeah.
I would bring School of Rock
Mm.
Damn.
movie, and then for the album is kind of cheating, but Marvin Gaye's Greatest Hits. I have this like 4 record thing at my apartment that I always put on that I love, and it's very calming. And I think if I was stranded on a desert island, I would need to calm down. And then I would bring my brother because his jobs require that he has survival skills, and I think I would survive a lot longer with my big brother around
Nice.
for that reason.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go with Ever After by Marion. So I'll commit to
That's a
that.
good one. That's
Sounds
Yeah.
good. All
I
right.
really like
I've listened to it twice on tour, so I think that one's
All
Passes
right.
the test.
Hell yeah. So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Listen to Built to Last by Arrows in Action.
Well,
We haven't talked about that.
pre-order Built to Last.
I think I don't know when this comes out.
We don't
but I
either.
was thinking- Great.
Oh, great. Well, pre-order and or
Do
listen
something
to-
in regard
Do
to
something
Pay
with
attention to the
Built
album.
Yes.
Just go to wherever you listen to music and listen to whatever we have put out.
Whatever's been most
Whatever's out.
and be on the lookout for tour
Tour
announcement
announcements.
things.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Set notifications on our Instagram.
Mhm.
I don't know. Join our Discord and our Patreon.
Patreon's been really fun.
And,
That's a
I don't
new
know.
one. The Patreon is really fun.
Patreon. Oh yeah, I guess we can quick shameless plug about our Patreon. We release like demos there. We have a podcast, the podcast in action, of course,
That's awesome.
that we're doing there with like just cool stories about all the like more in-depth stuff about this. And yeah, that's basically it, I think.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sounding. This guy's been Arrows in Action, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.